様か。
KO.
戦いとは最後にどちらが立っているか。
You know, when I first ran into this quote in Tekken 7, I honestly didn't know what to think of it. Playing this game back in 2017, it was a tough and trying time in my life, and to be fair, this quote is quite vindictive. The story of Tekken 7 is that Heihachi and his son Kazuya have their final confrontation, something that was built up all the way back since 1994's Tekken 1, and at the end of it, Kazuya throws his father into a volcano. Revisiting this title after Kazuya was included in Super Smash Bros. Kind of highlighted this quote again for me, and reflecting on it, I kind of realized that it was less about what Kazuya was saying and more about what he was leaving out that really struck to me. Because if the only thing that matters in the fight is just who's left standing and nothing else, the question becomes, what does it require to be the last person standing? To talk about this concept a little bit further, I actually want to bring you guys to another series that I enjoyed playing growing up. Punch-Out! In Punch-Out, you play as Little Mac, a very small boxer. He lives up to his namesake for sure, who is the smallest fighter in the WBBA boxing circuit. Little Mac isn't the most powerful boxer, he's definitely not the biggest, and he's not even the fastest boxer. But what Little Mac has over the other combatants is that he's the most methodical fighter. Punch-Out teaches you that you have to learn by losing. A lot. It's just impossible to be able to pick up a controller and be good at this game. The way to win this is by experimenting. And when you experiment, you naturally have to make a mistake. But making a mistake isn't good enough though, because you can keep on wailing at the opponent unsuccessfully and then eventually be knocked out, and you can try to fight them again, but if you don't learn from them, well, you're not going to succeed. And so really, it's about how do you take these mistakes and turn them into lessons.
TKO!
Because eventually, as you learn and you're able to defeat Glass Joe, then you're able to defeat Von Kaiser and King Hippo as you move all the way up to Sandman on the Wii version.
TKO! Woo-wee, Mac baby!
In Punch-Out, that's what I did, and I was able to beat the game. It was fun, and one of my absolute favorite titles on the Nintendo Wii. And so after applying that idea of taking these mistakes and turning them into lessons to be able to overcome these almost impossible challenges, how do you take those same lessons and apply it to a different arena? What if Little Mac had to fight Kazuya? Could he win? Could he be the last person standing? What it requires is for you to go through that same process again. It requires you to make those mistakes again and still be able to apply them into lessons. And that's a hard thing to do, especially if you've done that before. You guys have probably heard the term no pain, no gain, but that pain doesn't go away, right? You still have to lose time and time again, but every time you lose, you learn something new, right? You learn a different mechanic, or you learn a different move, or you learn how your opponent moves, or you learn your opponent's win condition, and you're able to overcome that. And so over time, you're able to defeat your opponent. Now, we've been talking a lot about video games, and if you guys know me, I usually like to apply video games into real-life applications. And honestly, it's the same thing. You learn a lot in different arenas in life, and quite often, you're thrown into new challenges. And so really, to be the last person standing, it requires you to take those same lessons, still make mistakes, adopt them into new lessons, and then become a champion in that arena. There are a lot of different fights that we take on, whether that's going for different promotions, whether that's caring for a family, taking care of a sick loved one, learning about yourself, overcoming the 2017 or overcoming your own 2020 where maybe you weren't at your best A game and you had to learn a set new thing, or you weren't at the place that you wanted to be. Can you overcome that, and can you be a champion throughout all of that? I honestly don't have an answer there. I mean, you're going to know yourself better than I will. But if it's any consolation, something that I've learned in life, and whether that's playing games, or taking on different challenges, and facing off in different arenas, it's the person that is able to take those mistakes and turn them into lessons that usually has the will to succeed. After all, that's what I define as a true fighter. It's somebody who just doesn't give up. It's somebody with an indomitable spirit, and somebody who can take a loss and actually turn it into a win for them.
Game. Win feel good, don't it?